So a warm welcome to all the devotees who are here on this call from Sanatan Dham, and I once more request you to continue to give me this service. Of course, next few months will be a little tight from a work perspective, but I am so grateful that you are giving me this opportunity to serve you in some insignificant way. Very grateful to you. So today we are going to be discussing from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 17, and text 51 and 52. So I'll just try and share those verses for you so that you can see those verses. We'll just quickly read the verses, and then after that, one moment. We'll just read the verses, and then after that we will get into the discussion. Okay. So, yeah. This is the verse. Yadrichayo apapannena shukleno parjitena va dhanenapi dayan bhrityan nyaye naiva haret kratun. A householder should comfortably maintain his dependents either with money that comes of its own accord, or with that gathered by honest execution of one's duties. According to one's means, one should perform sacrifices and other religious ceremonies. Purport: the Lord here describes the religious duties that are to be performed as far as possible according to one's means and when there is opportunity. Let's look at text 52. Kutumbeshu na sajjeta na pramatet kutumbyapi vipaschennashwaram nashwaram pashed adrishtam api drishtavat. So this is from the chapter, general history, chapter 17. A householder should householder taking care of many dependent family members should not become materially attached to them, nor should he become mentally unbalanced, considering himself to be the Lord. Mentally unbalanced. This is the word Prabhupada, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada have used. An intelligent householder should see that all possible future happiness, just like that which he has already experienced, is temporary. Purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A family man often acts like a lord, protecting his wife, ordering his children, maintaining servants, grandchildren, domestic animals, and so forth. The words na pramadyet kutumbyapi indicate that although one acts like a little lord surrounded by his family, servant, and friends, one should not, through false pride, become mentally unbalanced, considering oneself to be the actual Lord. The word vipaschit indicates that one should remain sober and intelligent, never forgetting oneself to be the eternal servant of the Lord. Householders of the upper, middle, and lower classes become attached to different types of sense gratification. In any economic or social class, however, one should remember that all material enjoyment, either here or in the next life, is temporary and ultimately useless. A responsible householder should guide his family members and other dependents back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. One should not become a false and puffed up lord for a brief span of time, for then one will remain bound up along with his family members in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Hare Krishna. So it's a very powerful, chapter from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this particular chapter, which is entitled Lord Krishna's description of the Varnashram system. So in this particular chapter, actually, Krishna is giving various instructions to Uddhava. And this particular verse is very powerful. It talks about what are the duties of a householder. And therefore, it is important for all of us. Some of the points that are mentioned in this particular verse, I could identify with it. When I was preparing this verse, when I saw it, I said, boss, these are words written for me, because we all consider ourselves as, as the words used in the purport, little lords, little lordship, right? We all see ourselves as little lords who have some sort of power, some sort of, some sort of control. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, when he's speaking about the qualities of the demoniac and the divine, he says, Ishwaroham aham bhogi, siddhoham balavan sukhi. So this is the characteristic of the demon, that he considers himself to be Ishwar. Ishwar means, it need not be Ishwar as I consider myself God. Ishwar means controller, some sort of controller. So he considers that I am a controller. I control. देखो, my family, my bank balance, my job में मेरे जो team है, उनको मैं control करता हूँ. I am the controller, right? Ishwaroham aham bhogi. And because I am the controller, I am also the enjoyer. So I can enjoy, from there. By controlling them, I can enjoy them. I can enjoy my senses from them. And Ishwaroham aham bhogi, siddhoham balavan sukhi. So I am full of opulences. I am very powerful. I am very happy. This is what the demoniac mentality is. But this is the mentality of the majority of the people in this world. So everyone in this material world, unfortunately, is acting like a lord. Lord means what? What Krishna is saying here is pramadit. Pramadit means mentally unbalanced. So it's a very powerful thing that is being said, that if you consider yourself a lord, you're mentally unbalanced. Whom do we normally say is mentally unbalanced? किसको बोलते हैं हम लोग mentally unbalanced? So someone who is, who's talking, could be बकवास बात कर रहा है, is talking any nonsense, is not coherent in the speech, it doesn't understand chronology of events, doesn't recognize people, doesn't recognize who he is, who that person is, and talks any rubbish. That's what we call mentally unbalanced. Balance means, knows properly what is what. Unbalanced means ek taraf chala gaya, completely forgotten who he is, who she is, and is, completely bewildered. So when we consider ourselves as lordship, we may not use that word that I am Lord, but we are thinking we are Lord. Subtly or grossly, in a subtle form, we may be thinking that I am controller. Hey, Baba, at least my family, so I am controlling. Na? You have a problem with that also. You may feel that, Arey boss, what's your problem in life? Yeah, my family, at least I can control. Na? I'm not controlling anything else. My family, that's it. I don't control anyone else. I understand, even when you're trying to control your family, you're acting like a lord, right? Lordship. And that's what Krishna is saying, is mentally unbalanced, right? Says he's definitely frowning down upon it. So what are the symptoms of acting like a lord? What are the symptoms? First of all, person who is who thinks he's protecting his wife. I protect my wife and my children. I give orders to them. I order what is mentioned in the purport. He's ordering his children. He's telling his children, hey, ye leke aao, नीचे जाके मेरे लिए ये लेके आओ, make my plate. Like I just told my son a few minutes back, make my plate, because we were in a bit of a hurry. So I told him to make my plate, right? Mukunda, please make my plate. I'm getting late for the lecture. So ordering your children around, then maintaining servants, children, grandchildren, domestic animals, and so forth. So when we do all these things, there's nothing wrong in maintaining your wife, maintaining your children, giving them certain services. Absolutely fine, no issues. When is the challenge? When does it become mentally unbalanced? When does it become Lord? When we start thinking that by I am the controller, you should listen to me, you should obey my orders. If you don't obey my orders, then I'll kick you out. And if those orders are based on my personal enjoyment and they are not based on the welfare of the person in front, right? If I'm only focused on my bhai mera comfort hona chahiye, I should be comfortable, I don't care two hoots for what discomfort you get by fulfilling my so-called orders, right? No. Now if you're ordering your children that get up at so and so time, sleep by so and so time, study this many hours, eat food at this time, drink water at this time, that's fine, because you're doing it with the purpose of welfare of the child. You want to ensure that the child is healthy, is materially well established, well educated, understands spirituality, and so on and so forth. But if we are trying to control them, with some personal agenda in mind, or we're being nasty about it, that's when it starts becoming lordship, right? So we have to be very careful what we do and what we do. And if we become proud, especially if you become proud that I am doing, there are some people who are very proud, right? They feel ki pura parivar maine sambhala. I have taken care of my entire family. So it is said that even the beggar, the beggar is proud of his own penny. Okay, beggar may have only one coin, but he is very proud that I have got one coin. You don't have even one coin. I have one coin, right? So even the beggar who has one coin feels proud about the fact that he or she has that one coin compared to somebody else who doesn't have anything. Unfortunately, nasty nature of this material world is we enjoy only when we see envy in someone's eyes. We don't just enjoy things by itself. There's no enjoyment in this material world just by taking a material object, because we are not the spirit, we are not the body, we are spirit soul. So material objects really can't give us enjoyment. But because we think we are the body, we think we are the enjoyer, and we see someone else suffering, by seeing our enjoyment we feel happy. What a miserable mind we have, right? which which only becomes happy when it sees someone else suffering, right? So pride is very natural. Even the beggar feels proud of his penny. So the householder is very likely to become proud of his little lordship. I am okay. I may not be lord of some county in England or something like that, but this 501 Shlok Apartments. मेरा नाम लिखा है उधर. My name is written on the on the notice board, on the name plate. How you can say I am not the Lord? So we feel that we are the Lord. We become proud, and in that pride we feel very satisfied. We feel very great. We feel कि see, I am a self-made man. एक रुपया किसी से मैंने कभी लिया नहीं. I have not taken 1 rupee from anybody. A self-made man. I am the head of the family. I am the patriarch. Full family, everyone. I've got a joint family. So you can become proud of anything, right? It doesn't take much for you to become a lord, to start thinking that I'm a lord. Even the animals have this, right? Even the animals take care of their family. If you see a lion also takes care of his little ones, takes care of his wife, of his lioness, ensures that no one can enter his ilaka, his territory. Nobody can enter. Even the lions are doing so. That's why it's called the pride of lions, right? When a group of lions is called a pride of lions. It's not it's not a coincidence. They're called pride of lions, because the lions are very proud animals. They're very proud of their controllership. They don't allow anyone to take over that controllership. So if they see a cheetah or some other lesser animal trying to come into their territory and do hunting, they kill that cheetah. They kill the cheetah. Imagine a predator killing another predator. They don't eat it, but they kill it. Because you can't come in my territory and eat, right? This is lordship. It is there in the animals. It is there in the human beings. And what is Krishna calling it? Krishna is saying mentally unbalanced, pramadit, crazy. So it is natural for a person who is maintaining others to start feeling that he has a right to control and dominate them, right? That this is my money. I am earning this money. So it's so sensitive you have to be, right? If we are earning money and our wife is not earning money, Matajis are not earning money, you have to be so sensitive that you don't try to even slightly indicate to them, I am earning money, so you shut up and listen to me. Right? This is very dangerous, and sometimes we feel that I am earning the money, therefore I can control. Sorry, sir, that's not how it works. Basically, we need to understand that it is not this money which I am earning or this salary which I am earning which is maintaining me. Who is maintaining? It is the Supreme Lord. It is the Paramatma. 15th chapter, whole 15th chapter, Bhagavad Gita talks about that. It is the Paramatma within the heart who is maintaining us. It is not our salary. It's not the salary who maintains us. It's the Supreme Lord who maintains us. We have to have this understanding. We have to have the maturity. Know that what money I am getting is coming by Krishna's mercy. What intelligence I have to earn that money is coming by Krishna's mercy. The food that I am buying with that money is coming by Krishna's mercy. Everything is being done by this body that is working, which is digesting the food, is by Krishna's mercy. The Agni, which is digesting the food, is by Krishna's mercy. The Vayu, which is pushing the food down, is by Krishna's mercy. Everything is by the Lord's mercy. What you are doing, right? But we tend to become proud. It's very natural for people to become proud. My money, my house, this is my kingdom, where I have mercifully allowed all of you to stay. मेरा घर है, मैंने पैसा भर के घर बनाया. I have made this house, so I am allowing you to stay. So just keep quiet. I will take all the important decisions, my way or the highway. No, there's no scope for discussion. There's no scope for there's no scope for anyone to express dissent, because this person becomes so proud of the fact that he has earned all the money, he has made this house, and therefore everyone else who lives in this house and who is quote unquote maintained by him should fall in line, should accept what he is saying, right? So we see an example of this in the Yagyapatni's pastime, when Krishna and his friends, they were sitting, and they were playing, and they were feeling very hungry. So the Gopas went up to Krishna and said, Krishna, we're very hungry. And Krishna said, yeah, even I am very hungry. Balramji was also very hungry. So Krishna told them that nearby there is a yagya going on. There are some brahmanas who are performing some yagya. Why don't you go up to those brahmanas and request them? They are making some nice bhoga. Why don't you tell them to give that bhoga for me? So the Gopas immediately they go, and then they approach the the brahmanas, and they say that Krishna and Balram, they are sitting nearby, they're very hungry, we are also hungry, can you please give us some food? And brahmanas insult them, just drive them like bhagwa aise, hut, we don't want to give anything, just walk off. So they ask them to walk off from there, just get lost, right? And then they come back dejected, or they didn't give. So then Krishna and Balram tell them that you go to the wives of these brahmanas, they will give. You mention that Krishna is hungry, they will give. So they go to the Yagyapatis, right? So, and then the Yagyapatnis, they immediately when they hear that Krishna is hungry, they take out whatever has been prepared for the Yagya, that bhoga they take, and they give it to Krishna, right? So, what is the attitude of the Yagya, Yagyapatis? That this is made by us. We are the controller. Who are these people? We don't even want to consider. They don't even want to consider that who is requesting. The Supreme Lord is requesting. You don't want to consider it. So we don't want to be in that situation, right? As householders, we should be so sensitive that I don't try to control my family on the power given to me by the fact that I have the money. There's an important lesson for all of us to learn from this. So whichever Prabhujis, Matajis are there over here, it's a very important lesson for us to learn. Practically, you should not ever make your spouse feel dependent on you because of money. Never do it. If you have been doing it till now, please try to correct it immediately. Give them over the in the old films they used to say na kiski chabi, वो अलमारी की चाबी, अलमारी के अंदर वो लॉकर की चाबी उनके हाथ में थमा दो.
तिजोरी की चाबी.
हाँ, तिजोरी की चाबी, तिजोरी की, yes. The तिजोरी की चाबी you should give them. Yes, equally it is a responsibility of the women to ensure that they don't just burn a hole through it. They have to also be responsible that okay, my husband is working so hard to earn this money, he has saved this money, so this money must be utilized for our retirement, for our children's education, for our children's marriage, and not I can spend now but also keep for the future. So if both husband and wife work in partnership, right, where husband gives to the wife that you take care of the house, if you need more you ask me, I'll give you more, right? Should give her that freedom, and the wife should be acting very responsibly that okay, he's giving me the freedom, so let me act responsibly, let me show that responsibility. So this is how householders should be working. But if you don't have that mentality, the mentality of controllership, then you feel ki I am earning money, I will ration how much money to be given to my wife. For everything she has to come and beg of me, everything my children have to come and beg of me. right? That's an unhealthy situation. Then this controller mentality, this lord mentality, can also extend to devotees. So if you are a a preacher, you're a preacher in Krishna consciousness, you can become a controller there also. You can become a lord there also. That there are some, I am maintaining your Krishna consciousness. So this gives me the right to control you. I am preaching to you. I have made you a devotee. Bhakti mein kaisa hai? How you came to devotional life? I brought you. Okay. So we become proud of that also. It's so stupid actually. We understand what we are in. Before we came to Krishna consciousness, we had pride, lust, greed, anger, envy in full measure. Ekdam, matlab, and we're very proud of it also that I'm so lusty, I'm so powerful, I'm so wealthy. But now, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we still have those same qualities, but it's with some slight transformation. A little bit instead of that pride is still there, but now I am proud of my devotional qualities. I am proud of my position amongst the Vaishnavas. I am a preacher. Okay, you're not a preacher, are you? You're not a preacher. Okay, I am a preacher. You know that I preach to so many people, and they become proud. How foolish! The words we are using are Prabhupada's words. The Vani that comes out is coming by the grace of Parampara. How foolish to think that you are preaching. The transformation that happened in someone's heart is Parampara, is Paramatma to Paramatma connection. The Lord at the appropriate time will give the ignition to that person by which they become a devotee. Krishna has already said that in the next life this person will be born. One who is a Brashta yogi will be born in the family of a rich person or of a pious person, and then they will continue from where they left off. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, "Bhai, tumne kya kiya? You are just the person who lit the match. That's it. Match also was given by somebody else. So what you're taking credit for, right? But as devotees also, sometimes we start taking credit. We start controlling the lives of other Vaishnavas. We feel ki I am maintaining a Krishna consciousness that gives me right to control you. Then we start getting into their personal lives. We start controlling everything that they're doing. Arey, you didn't ask me before buying a house. You didn't ask me before changing your job. You didn't ask me before. Arey, who are you? It's these things cannot be demanded, they have to be earned. You have to earn the respect of Vaishnavas, that they trust you so much that they come to you before taking any important decision in their life. And even if they do approach us, we must not just tell them, okay, now that you asked me, you do this, you marry this girl, you must have only one child, you must have two children, you must invest in this mutual fund, you must buy this deposit. Arey Baba, please don't do all these things. Don't. Don't give such specific advice to Vaishnavas. You are going to destroy their spiritual life. You are going to destroy your life also. Because what happens is when we become decision makers for other devotees, what happens? If the decision goes wrong by Krishna's arrangement, if the decision goes wrong, they will come back and blame you. They will say, "Hey, Prabhu, you told me to marry this girl. I was not very sure, but you told me, Prabhu, that's why I married." And then it comes back and slaps you in the face. Right? Don't be a controller. Even amongst Vaishnavas, don't try to be a lord. What is our position amongst Vaishnavas? Anybody? What is our position amongst Vaishnavas?
Servant of servants.
Dasanudas.
Yes. Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamalayor Das Dasanu Das. It's like it is like pushed three times. Das Dasanu Das. In case Das may there may be some misunderstanding. Okay, I am servant of Krishna. That's a fairly high position. Das Dasanu Das. Servant of Krishna, uska servant ka servant. Just to emphasize, but Baba, you are really a servant. Don't think yourself to be a lord. Moment we start thinking we are a lord, the fall down has already started. Be very careful, right? So, if we don't try to control lives of devotees, we should not remind them कि भाई मैं कौन हूँ, पता है क्या, कौन हूँ मैं? You know who I am? I'm disciple of so and so. I've been in bhakti for 25 years. When you came to bhakti, I brought you. Absolutely never do that, right? Don't threaten devotees, don't control them, don't remind them of how they came, who you are. Don't ever do this. That is what Krishna is calling madness, pramadya, right? It is madness. Don't do it. What is the effect of this lordship? If you become a lord, you try to become a lord either in your family or in your job or in your spiritual circles. You try to become a lord. What is the impact of that? At best, okay, we'll look at the worst also, we'll look at the best also. So at best, this leads to deep attachment, very much attached. You become attached to the family, that this is my wife, my son, my daughter, my father, my brothers. Become very attached. Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. I am this body and everything in connection to this body is mine. Janasya moho aham mameti. So we become attached to those things which we consider as mine. Then I can become attached to the wealth which I created. This is my wealth, boss. I have slogged for 25 years to earn this money. It's my wealth. Yeah, I understand it. Everything belongs to Krishna at some level. I get it. Everything is belonging to Krishna, but I earned it. Who earned it? I earned it. Whose effort? My effort, my intelligence, my planning. I invested in the right places at the right time. That's how I became so wealthy. So, my wealth. We become attached. We become attached to family, become attached to wealth, which is the cause for the greatest pain at the time of death. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayana Vidyate Swalpamapisya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. What is this Mahato Bhayat? He says that a small advancement on this path, will protect us from the greatest kind of fear. There's no diminution in this, and it will protect us from the greatest kind of fear. What is the greatest kind of fear? The greatest kind of fear is the fear of death. We're all very afraid of death. Why? Because right now, while I'm talking to you, over the years, I've been preaching for 15 years, okay, 15, almost 20 years now. I've been preaching and I used to sing Kirtan. Now, over a period of time, my voice is becoming hoarse. When I'm singing, my voice becomes hoarse. When I'm speaking, my voice becomes hoarse. After a few minutes, after half an hour, I need to keep drinking water. My voice becomes hoarse. I'm losing my voice. What if I lost my voice? What if I lost one finger? How much pain? Hurry, my finger gone forever. What will I do now? How much pain it causes. The physical pain is one thing, but more than that is the mental agony that this finger is gone forever. I have become deformed. I become incomplete. How much mental agony it causes? You lose one finger. What to speak if you lost your hand? What to see if you lost a full arm? What if you lost a brother? Some elder brother, younger brother. What if you lost that person? How much painful it is. What if you lost your father, your mother? God forbid you lose a child. How much painful it will be. So each and every one of these events, if you lose, if you have put money in some share and that share falls by 15%, immediately the heart fails. Arey, so much money is gone, right? So imagine everything that you hold dear to you, every single thing, be it your family, your friends, your home, your education, your designations, your services, your hands, your legs, your beautiful hair, your lovely eyes, your sweet nectarine voice, everything taken away from you in one shot. Right? If we lose two people together from our family, like this COVID pandemic, a lot of people lost one or two people from their family in one go. It was devastating, traumatic. Imagine if all gone in one go. How painful. That's why at the time of death, it is compared to the sting of 42,000 scorpions. It's very, very painful death. Death is not some, I'll die and, I'll die in a flash and it'll be great. No, it's very painful. Because of all the attachment we have, that is painful. That's what's called Mahato Bhayat. The greatest fear is the fear of death. So this, this attachment that we have to our family, to the wealth and whatever we have, this attachment actually causes greater and greater fear. We become very, very afraid. And then because of the attachment, because our desires are not being fulfilled, because we feel कि अरे और कुछ enjoy करना था, we are born again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Again we take shayan, we take shelter in the jathara, in the uterus, in the womb of another, female species, maybe an animal, maybe a woman, maybe anything. We'll just take shelter somewhere, right? So you have to understand this attachment is very powerful. There was one story one devotee had told. There was one there was one lady who was like the head of the family. Like these Marwadi families, where sometimes there's a patriarch, and under him children are there, grandchildren are there, uncles, aunts, everyone. But there's a patriarch who started the business, so to say. So this lady, she lost her husband at a very young age, and then she controlled the family business, and she drove it for many years. And then she grew very old, and she was on her deathbed, and one of her grandsons was actually a devotee. Okay, grandson was a devotee, and the grandson, when he realized that she's going to leave her body, he came to her and told her, "Dadi, aap Hari ka naam lo. मेरे साथ चैंटिंग करो, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे." So he told her that you please chant, okay? But she was not able to chant. She was saying, beating her chest and saying, "Maro piso, maro piso." Maro piso means my money. So she was about to leave her body. And even at that point, she was thinking with great pain about her money. Mera paisa chala jayega, my money will be gone. These fools will lose all the money, they will destroy the business. And she's there, she's stuck there. And the grandson is telling him, "Dadi, aap Hare Krishna karo." Please chant the holy names. She's not able to. Maro piso, maro piso. Right? There's one funny story. I think Gaur Gopal Prabhu had told once about this. Said that there was one similar story. There was a family man who had a big shop. Who had built a big shop, and that shop maintained the whole household. Shop niche tha, ghar upar tha. And all the that man had his younger brothers, he had his children, their brothers had the children, then there were grandchildren, everyone was there, and he was growing old. And one fine day he was on his deathbed. So when he was on his deathbed, he kind of everyone came to him, stood by his side. He asked, where is my younger brother? So he said, "I'm here." He said, "Where is my youngest brother?" "I'm also here." He says, "Okay, where is my first son?" "I'm here." "Where is my third son?" "I'm here." He says, "Where is my brother's sons?" "Or we are here." I said, "If everyone is here, the dukan kaun dekh raha hai?" Right? Who's watching the shop? Right? This is what is called attachment. Right? And this attachment, while we may find it funny to hear, but in reality, even as Vaishnavas, we can get attached like this. So be careful, make an inventory of what you are attached to, and slowly but surely try to let go. Otherwise, if we are very, very attached, we'll never be happy. So, so at best, as I said, the effect of this lordship, at best, it leads to great attachment. Okay. And at worst, what happens? What is the flip side of this lordship? We try to control, we try to dominate without considering consequences. If you don't accept my lordship, I'll crush you. Like we see Daksha Prajapati, because Lord Shiva did not accept his lordship. He said, "I'll crush you. I'll try to insult you. I'll insult your wife, even though she may be my daughter. I don't care. I'll insult you." So this is the flip side of this lordship. So what is the right way? What is the correct way? What is the manner in which we have to conduct ourselves? What does Krishna want from us, right? So being a loving and unselfish, generous person who understands that he is in a particular lord-like position by the arrangement of the Lord. It is not that I have earned money, I have worked so hard, so I have collected all this, so therefore I am the Lord. No, but understand that whatever is there, it has come by the arrangement of the Lord. So while these relationships are temporary, one can give one's best, to the family without too much expectation. You have to understand that no matter how much you try, no how much hard you try, sometimes you may be fortunate that your family, your colleagues whom you are working with, your devotees whom you are preaching to, whoever you are trying to serve in whatever way, even if you are trying to serve them, it can happen that they misunderstand your motives. They feel that you are not giving them what they want, and there can be misunderstandings galore. But from our side, of our point of view, we have to try our best and then leave the result to Krishna, right? So now if you look at what is it that the devotees ask us to do, what do we need to do? So what His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, in various places, he has spoken about this servant leadership, right? Servant leadership means what? It is loving, unmotivated service, whether it is as a husband, as a father, as a brother, as a son, son-in-law, daughter, daughter-in-law, grandfather, father-in-law, whatever relationship you may be working on. If we show that servant leadership, which is loving, unmotivated service, that is focused on the welfare of the individual, right? As long as we are trying to serve, keeping the welfare of the individual in the larger context of the family, right? So that they can grow, they can become free, they can become wiser, they can become more responsible, and not dependent on you. See, the idea behind running a family is not to make the family members dependent on you. If your children are dependent on you till your death, there's a problem. If you are dependent on somebody else all your life, there's a problem. So we have to, while we are working, yes, there's nothing wrong in nothing wrong in working like that I will not take, किसी का पैसा नहीं लूंगा, मैं अपने बलबूते पे I will try and come up and I will make whatever career or whatever I have to do. Nothing wrong in thinking like that, but we should understand that whatever we're getting is by Krishna's mercy. Similarly, we don't want to make our family dependent on us. It's not a good idea. If you are, because moment they become completely dependent on you, then that controllership comes. It is very natural. You will feel ki, Are, I am giving everything, I am providing for you, so then you should just listen to what I'm saying, right? So it's very natural. Of course, if it is focused on the welfare of the individual, and it is looking at the larger context of the family, then it's understandable, but not in a controlling way. Not that, I am providing for you, so shut up and listen. No, that is wrong, right? And we have to train our dependents to become, free, to become wise, to become responsible, so that they can take their own decisions. They can take their own they can take their own actions, not become dependent on you, and ultimately become servant leaders themselves. So a leader has to lead in such a way that they create new leaders. They create people who are capable of taking decisions themselves, who are able to operate independently. So that is what is called servant leadership. And what is the connection with the Daivi Varnashram system? The Daivi Varnashram system is also similar. It's like we keep Krishna in the center, and there's a natural give and take. If you see, in the Daivi Varnashram system, who is at the head? We say that the Brahmana is the head, and amongst the ashram, we say the sannyasi is at the head. But there is no concept of lordship, and there shouldn't be. Even though a king may be a controller of an entire kingdom, right? He has such power, such undisputed power, that he just raises an eyebrow and everyone in the kingdom starts shivering. So that power may be there. Lordship may be very naturally endowed upon those people. They are born leaders. Some of them are just born with those powerful qualities. But the understanding is that I depend on the other ashrams. It's not that I depend on the other ashram, I depend on the other varnas. So sannyasi, while the sannyasi is the head of society, okay, he is the head of all the ashrams depend on the sannyasi for what? For spiritual sustenance, right? But similarly, sannyasi is dependent on the grihasthas for what? For material sustenance, spiritual sustenance. He is giving material sustenance. We are giving. So, it's a very nice give and take kind of thing. There's no concept of anyone being Lord. We may place a person in that, we say His Holiness, and it's given that kind of a His divine grace. We give those titles, we give those Prabhupada, we give those titles to express our gratitude and our respect to that person. But that person can't take that position. Recently I was hearing a lecture of Srila Prabhupada where Prabhupada was describing the difference between um, uh, an Uttam Adhikari and a Madhyam Adhikari. He said a Madhyam Adhikari, one who is a preacher, he has to discriminate, that he has to correct people. If something is not happening properly, he has to correct. If someone is not doing devotional service properly, he's not chanting properly, he has to correct, because he is a preacher, therefore he has to correct. But he said Uttam Adhikari does not correct. He understands, oh, his spirit soul, he's part and parcel of Krishna. Mamayavamsha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, is part and parcel of Krishna. So therefore, there is no need for me to correct him. I will just give the right instruction. If he is inspired, he will follow. Right? This is how the Parivachakacharya, the Uttam Adhikari thinks. But Prabhupada said, preacher cannot think like that. Preacher needs to correct. So then one of the disciples over there, in response, he said, Prabhupada, you are greater than Uttam Adhikari also. He said, you are greater than, you are greater than Uttam Adhikari also. Prabhupada said, no, I am worse than you. He says, I am worse than everyone. I'm just useless. I'm just a servant trying to follow the instructions of my spiritual masters. In great humility, with great honesty, Prabhupada is saying this. He doesn't feel, though by that time he's already become, worldwide Acharya with hundreds and thousands of disciples all over the world. But Prabhupada doesn't have that, that feeling, I am sannyasi, I am founder Acharya of ISKCON, so you should, hey, you're right. Well said. Finally, you recognize that I am Uttam Adhikari. Prabhupada said, no, I am worse than you. Right? So this is how Prabhupada's mood was. And this is the mood that devotees should have. Don't get trapped that, I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya, I am a Vaishyam, Shudra, I am a Sannyasi, I am a Grihastha. Don't be trapped in all these Varnas and Ashrams. There's a natural give and take between each Varna, each Ashram. If you don't know, get trained in that. Understand very clearly what is this Devi Varnashram system, what is the interaction between the Varnas and Ashrams. Train yourself in order to get avoid getting trapped, in these attachments that I am a king, I am a Brahmana, I am a sannyasi, I am a pure devotee. Don't get into that thing. So ultimately, we have to be able to give up all these sarvopadi vinirmuktam, right? When we are able to give up these designations, that is when Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. That's when bhakti will happen. We'll be able to serve the Supreme Lord Krishna when we give up those designations. As long as we're holding on to the designations, we will not be able to take 100% shelter of Krishna. Right? So householders like to be lords. So just to conclude, another important point over here, that householders, there's a very important point that's being made in the purport over here, that why do the householders like to be lords? Why? Because there is some gross sense gratification, some subtle sense gratification that is involved, right? The moment you are a grihastha, you're a householder, there is some gross as well as subtle sense gratification that's involved. It's unavoidable. It is pretty natural. It is going to be there, right? But we have to understand, what a powerful statement that's made in the purport over here. Understand that this sense gratification is temporary. The point that is being made here, the intelligent householder should see that all future happiness, all intelligent householders should see that all future happiness is temporary, just like the one which was just passed. So this statement, when I was reading this in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this purport has this statement. It's a kind of statement which you may just read and you miss it. That's why I highlighted it. It's a very, very, very powerful statement for us to just meditate on for a moment, right? If you are intelligent, you'll see that what happiness I am endeavoring for future may. I am working for 2 BHK house, 3 BHK house, penthouse, right? I'm working for that. That future happiness is temporary, just like all the happiness we just went. So the happiness we just went few days, few minutes, few seconds back, what happiness you got? You ate a great meal, that happiness was temporary. You had a wonderful family, that happiness was temporary. You had a great, you got a bonus for Diwali, that happiness was temporary, it's gone. You're not still thinking, oh yeah, I got a bonus for Diwali, but last year also I got. Arey yaar, what bonus they gave? Nothing it is. They should have given more than this, right? That is what happens. Happiness is temporary. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitosna sukha dukkada agama apayano nityastam stikshasu bharata. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that this happiness and distress are like winter and summer seasons. They will come and go. Learn to tolerate them. Don't get too attached, right? So we have to understand that what happiness we are striving for, that is also temporary. Like all the happiness which we experience, we just think back. You look backwards and you see all the happiness which just went by was all temporary. You're not still feeling happy, no. And I had a nice hot bath today. Ah, ha, ha, ha. So nice. I had a nice hot breakfast today. Lovely. That happiness is there for that few seconds. It's gone after that. So same way, what future happiness is going to come is also temporary. What a powerful statement, right? So we have to understand as householders that while there may be sense gratification in householder life as a lord, but still that happiness is temporary. So how can we reach this mentality to understand that everything is temporary? First, a householder should comfortably maintain his dependence. So this is the statement that's made in the 51st verse. Very powerful, another very beautiful statement. It says a householder should comfortably maintain his dependence, either with money that comes of its own accord, or that which is gathered by honest execution of one's duties. Meaning what? What on its own. So often money just comes like that. We feel that I have worked very hard and therefore I got this. But sometimes, if you really honestly question ourselves, we realize that, oh, I was just lucky, this year, I managed to meet my target somehow by Krishna's grace. And ye paisa aa gaya, chalo acha ho gaya, right? And it's just come of its own accord. Or through what money we have earned through honest means. Through honest means, what money we earn, with that we should try to just comfortably maintain our dependence according to one's means. Then he says, the purport says, according to one's means, and when there is an opportunity, one should perform sacrifices and other religious ceremonies. So for grihasthas, one of the most important principles is the principle of charity, right? If you look at it, I was talking about the varnas and ashrams, right? If you see the other three ashram, sannyas ashram, no source of income; brahmachari ashram, no source of income; vanapastha ashram, no source of income. So who is the one who has source of income? It is only the grihasthas. So it is the bounden duty of the grihasthas to maintain the other three ashrams. So your children are like brahmacharis. Yeah, I mean, in one sense, they don't have a source of income. You have to maintain them. Your parents are like vanaprasthas. You have to maintain them. The brahmacharis in the temple, the sannyasis, we have to maintain them. How we can do that? By giving charity. We can't maintain them spiritually. We can maintain them materially. Whatever. See, that's the point. That take care as grihasthas. How we can lose this lordship mentality? As grihasthas, as I said, lovingly taking care of your family members, providing for them in whatever way possible, whatever best way possible, by the means, what money you earn by honest means or money that's come of its own accord, very lovingly, very nicely take care of your family. And on the other hand, give in charity. Be, as it is mentioned in the purport, according to one's means, one should perform sacrifices. One should perform religious ceremonies. So do it. Take care of the brahmacharis, take care of the sannyasis. Whatever means financially you can contribute, we should contribute. Invite the devotees to your home for prasad. Dadati prati granati guhyam akhyati prachiti bhumte bhojate cheva shadbir kriti lakshanam. So these are the qualifications, these are the activities by which priti lakshan, the symptoms of love will manifest amongst Vaishnavas. तो चैरिटी का चैरिटी हो गया और प्रेम भी बना between devotees. Loving relationships can be formed in this manner by inviting devotees for prasad, by going to their homes for prasad. It's such a wonderful activity. So by just these simple things, if we do, by taking care of a family, not making them feel that I am controller, I am earning money to shut up and listen. Instead giving them, financial freedom, giving them good advice also how to use money, training them how to, educating them properly so that they know how to utilize money. So if you're training them nicely and you're giving them freedom, then they will develop into better individuals as they go along. They will also do the same thing with their children, with their wives, with their dependents. So we don't make our dependents feel they're dependent on us. We give them independence. At the same time, we also try to give in charity with whatever money we have, after taking care of all our our needs, our our future needs, our savings, everything. Then what money we have, we should give in charity. So to conclude, one should not become a false and puffed up lord for a brief span of time. This is what is the conclusion of the purport. For then one will remain bound up along with his family members in the cycle of repeated birth and death. So if you are very attached, thinking I am Lord, okay, remember you will to be attached only in this material world, because you did not give Krishna consciousness to your children, to your dependents. You did not set the example. You did not become a sincere Vaishnava. Not only you will remain in the material world, they will also remain in the material world. Because of their attachment with you, their dependence on you, they are having to follow what rubbish you are doing. Therefore, they will also remain in this material world. So if you really love your family members, don't control them, give them Krishna consciousness, right? Give them bhakti. That is the best charity, the matchless gift that one can give. You may give so many gifts to your children, you may give so many gifts to your friends, colleagues, neighbors, relatives, so many things you can give, datati pratigranati, but the best gift one can give is the gift of Krishna, gift of Krishna consciousness, right? So if you don't do it, you will remain bound up, family members will remain bound up in the cycle of death and birth and death. So a responsible householder should guide his family members and other dependents on how to go back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge, where we will be servant. There will be only one Lord, Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ar Sababhritya. That is the purpose of this material world. That is the purpose of family life. For us to understand that we are not the controller, not to feel that I am the controller and I am the enjoyer. For us to get the realization, I am not the controller, I am not the enjoyer, I am not the Lord. I am simply servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord, and therefore I should serve him, and I should engage my family members also in the service of the Lord, so that we can all perfect our lives in this very lifetime itself. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai. Any questions, comments from anybody?
Any questions,
Hare
please?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
No, any questions?
Oh, acha, I thought you were asking a question.
No.
Hare
Like,
Krishna. Prabhuji, just I want to make one this tippani that
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yes.
this is an eye opener for me, I would say, because कहते हैं ना कि एक आपको एक कहते हैं झंझोड़ के जगा देते हैं, तो that's it was this lecture was like that. So we were all means I was also thinking that in a small way that I am the lord of my house and these feelings are there. So it has given us a means like दोबारा सोचने पे मजबूर किया है आपके जो दिस डिवाइन लेक्चर ने हमें कि भाई वी हैव टू
Whatever
retrospect
I
ourselves.
say applies 200% to me also, Prabhu. All of us have this problem, same
So,
problem. We have this controller mentality, and it creates a lot of pain for yourself also, and for your family members also. It's a fact. It creates pain for you because you try to control and people don't get controlled. You may be controlling with good intention, but still they don't want to be controlled. So it creates pain for you because you're expecting certain things and it doesn't happen. So you are in pain. And they don't want to be controlled, they are in pain. Everyone is in pain. So controllership doesn't work.
and a very nice
Personal
example
reliability.
of beggar pride also. If I was hearing one lecture, I think either it was from Gorang Prabhu that a Arthur Road beggar, he doesn't want to marry his daughter to a Goregaon or Andheri beggar. He said, no, they are low standard beggars. They are from Arthur Road. So that kind of, pride is there and very nicely you have taken from nectar of instruction and this Dadami principle. So of course we don't follow it. We listen it so many times, but we do not follow in toto in our life. That is what. If we keep hearing, maybe someday we
Yeah, we'll keep hearing, and maybe someday
get some
we will
realize.
realize we're not really the controllers.
So thank you so much for the
Hare Krishna.
wonderful
Any other
lecture.
questions, comments? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you mentioned like give them like to the family members, to others also, like give them Krishna consciousness. So given our situation here in Riyadh and all those, like it may not be very easy. So like to invite others and all those, like how should we like go about it?
So,
Like
Prabhuji,
because association is very important,
yeah, true.
as I understand.
So it's see, first thing, as they say, charity begins at home, right? First, we should become Vaishnavas. We should become good devotees, and we can try and give Krishna consciousness to our family first. That is the first duty. Then after that, if we have to preach to others, okay, be very careful. See, if you're living in a country where preaching is not appreciated, okay, or is not supported or is banned, on the opposite side, then one has to be careful that whom do you preach to. Don't preach to people who are who are locals, second generation, people living there. You're probably safer preaching to people who are immigrants like you. Someone
Right.
who's an immigrant who's just come from India 1 or 2 years back, and actually such people are desperately hungry. They're looking for some semblance of their culture in that country. So invite them, tell them that we have this cultural program, we do some kirtan, we discuss Bhagavad Gita, would you be interested? Don't force. If they decide to come of their own accord, they come. Preaching to people who have been living in the country, who are born in that country, and maybe of Indian origin, but they are born in that country, that can be risky. You don't know where their loyalties lie. But people who have come from India, very nicely, without preaching, just you're just inviting them. Hey, we have this cultural program, where we do some kirtan and we discuss from Gita. Would you be interested? That light way we can invite people, and if they come, they come. They don't come, they don't come. That's fine. We just lovingly invite. See, our nature, our behavior is a very strong preaching point, more than even the lectures which we may give. If we behave nicely, people feel like listening to you. If you're humble, you're very good in your job, you may be brilliant in your work, but you maintain humility, you don't, show any pride. You don't try to show some attitude, because you're a devotee, a few verses, so, you try to show off. Never do that. If you're just very humble and very sweet in your work, you're uncompromising and very, very focused on your work. But at the same time, uncompromising on any principles. No tea, no coffee, no onion, no garlic, vegetarian food. You know, I will not engage in locker room talks. If you are uncompromising in those standards, over a period of time, people start respecting you. One or two of them, small percentage, may come and ask you, "Bhai, tu kya kar raha hai? What is this? Even I am interested." So if you are in a place where you cannot even preach, you cannot even tell people we have a cultural program, it's an underground program. If that is the situation, then by your behavior you preach. All right.
Thank you very much.
And if you don't have association, if you're not getting association, take association from books. Take association by hearing online lectures. There are millions of online lectures available on YouTube. आपको जितना चाहिए, whole life if you hear now, still you will not complete even 50%. So many lectures are there. Wonderful speakers are there from all over the world. Take your pick. If you want
we have realized
association,
recently.
yeah. If you want association, you can get it anywhere, Prabhu. You can get it in Prabhupada's books. Pick up a Bhagavatam, read 5 purports. Automatically you will get association. You'll get Prabhupada's association. You'll get Krishna's association. So if you want association, it's available everywhere. If you don't want association, even amidst the temple you're living in the brahmachari ashram, you will not take the association. It's all in the mind. Okay. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts, questions, comments? All right. So thank you very much for your kind, patient
Shall we
hearing.
thank you, Prabhuji, formally?
Thank you. Thank
Prabhuji,
you
to be honest, like as Vishnu Prabhuji rightly mentioned, we didn't realize the time passing. Like we were fully absorbed in your lecture. I must say, like it's a wonderful selection. Like you have opened our eyes on this one. Like we never knew such a verse is there in Bhagavata Purana. So thank you very much. You have taken us through that and like very absorbing kind of lecture, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
जय श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की
जय श्री
जय,
राम सखा प्रभु जी की
जय,
जय
गुरुदेव की जय. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.